buzzing over the frenetic start to the finals. A disputed officiating reversal, disastrous late miscues, and Golden State dominance in overtime doomed the Cavaliers in a deflating defeat as the Warriors took the finals opener for the fourth straight year. Even after one of the greatest individual nights in finals history, LeBron James trails 0-1 for the 8th time in 9 appearances. But injuries to a pair of the league's most versatile players could leave the champs vulnerable to split when Game 2 tips tonight from Oakland.
Tonight we played as well as we've played all postseason.
It was a crazy game.
LeBron James throws the charge on Durant. They changed that to a block.
There was just some plays that was kind of taken away from us.
J.R. Smith brings it back out. I get the feeling J.R. Smith thought they had the lead.
Sometimes it's good to be a little lucky. Cool.
From way downtown.
We're playing a great team. It's not going to be easy.
Banks and scored. Oh, my. James with 51 points.
We just try to do whatever it takes to help our team win.
We got to come out and have more resistance.
The Cavs, not a lot of people giving them a chance.
You can say what you want until the game is played.
The finals, man, anything's liable to happen.
Welcome to Game Time Live from the NBA Finals 2018, presented by YouTube TV. We're inside Oracle Arena ahead of Game 2 here on a Sunday night by the Bay. Good to have you with us as always. Matt, Grant, Zeke, Kenny. Guys, serious group mode for the Cavaliers tonight. For the Warriors, at this juncture, we don't have an official word on whether or not Klay Thompson or Andre Iguodala will be available tonight. Iguodala is listed as doubtful, Thompson as questionable, both with the same basic diagnosis, a left lateral leg contusion, although Iguodala's is more of a bone bruise to his knee. Thompson's more of a high ankle sprain. Jared Greenberg will be with us in a few moments' time. He'll ask Steve Kerr the question that everyone wants to know. Will those guys play tonight? But for the Cavaliers, they're coming off a game in which they got a historic performance out of the world's best player and still couldn't finish the deal. What's on their minds tonight as they take the floor here for Game 2?
I got to think that they're feeling confident about their game plan. LeBron James probably is the most confident player in the series right now because the game that he just had, from a scoring standpoint, was, one of those historic games. Now, they've had 2 days to try to nurse George Hill and get J.R. Smith, get their confidence back, nurse them back to health and get them believing again. And I believe that if they can come out and win this game, then we're looking at a long series. I don't think this is going to be a close game. I think either Golden State is going to blow Cleveland out or Cleveland is going to win big here tonight. But I don't see this as a game that goes down to the wire again because of that confidence factor.
It's funny because if I was George Hill, my confidence would not ever be shook. I'm like, I didn't lose the game, I just didn't win it. But I put us in a position to go into overtime by hitting one of the free throws. I would have never lost my confidence on that, missing the shot to win it because I didn't lose it. But overall, I think that, and I'm going to say this gingerly, one of the reputation things that you have about J.R. Smith is he's aloof at times and his antennas aren't always up. What he did the other night, his antennas are up for the first time in a long time. So we're going to see a concentrating J.R. Smith, at least from a visual standpoint, or a perspective of people who don't know him. So I would love to see how he plays with his antennas up. And they are up. And I think he is a guy who does like the media attention, even negative or positive. So I'm interested to see if he comes out very aggressive. And it'll be fun to watch. I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Well, if he's not locked in tonight, he'll never be locked in.
No, he'll definitely be locked in. I'm just curious, is he going to – I think of Nick Anderson, back in the mid-'90s against your team.
Yes,
had an opportunity, missed 4 free throws, lost that series. You guys went on to sweep them. And he never quite was the same, never had the same confidence. And so I do worry about that with the J.R. Smith. I think obviously he's a different personality than Nick. But I do think he's probably been loved on a lot by his teammates because they know how important he is. And I think if he can bounce back from that, which in a weird kind of way I think he can, that's going to be crucial. If he goes the other way, then Cleveland has no chance not just tonight, but also in the rest of the series. So it's just going to be interesting to see how he bounces back. His body language?
Is he
aggressive?
Right.
Is he J.R. Smith that we've seen? If he's that, I think he'll be okay, and the Cavs will give himself a chance tonight.
You know, Brent, I think he's had a mental cleansing, so to speak. After game one, right, there was some denial, you know, and I think yesterday's press conference, you know, he was like, okay, he fessed up. I didn't understand the situation. I didn't know it. And I think there was a cleanse that happened in terms of him mentally that will allow him to come back and be thinking and also be confident.
Cavaliers as a team are 5-1 this postseason following losses. As for game twos, LeBron James has gone for 40 or more in 2 of the 3 game twos so far this postseason, both Cavalier wins. What do you expect from him tonight, especially in the face of a Warrior defense that Steve Kerr promised would be a little more physical here tonight?
Well, I mean, I expect more of the same. LeBron James, one of the smartest players in the NBA. 4 defenders not seeing the ball. This is the best player in the game, arguably the GOAT, and sees that the defense is not paying attention. And, of course, patience. Takes his time, reads the defense, surveys. Draymond Green's guarding him. He goes the opposite way of the screen, and he has a free lane to the basket, which Golden State can't afford to do. And once again, gets the mismatch, makes sure his shooters get spaced. Jordan Clarkson gets out to the corner. Kyle Korver gets up to the top. LeBron James takes his time. And, of course, one-on-one, you cannot guard him. Great first step. Gets to that right hand with the easy finish. And once again, a nice little simple screen. Golden State did not play this screen and roll correctly. He takes what the defense gives him. LeBron James steps back, knocks down a 3. Isaiah, his efficiency on the court, but his skill and his basketball IQ is really having playing at an all-time level. And if Golden State doesn't make those adjustments, it'll just be more of the same from LeBron James.
Yeah, I think his ability to read the defense, Kenny, Grant, understand what they're throwing at him, and figure it out for himself to score, I think has been amazing. Now, what he's got to figure out how to do, because what I saw late in the game is that, you know, in those isolation plays, they just went to a 1-2-2 zone, right? And then they went to a 2-3 zone. So they were zoning up a lot, and consequently, the last 3 minutes of the game, you didn't see him driving down the lane. He couldn't penetrate. He couldn't get to the basket. Now, will he be able to figure out the zone coverage at the end of the game? Because I thought Steve Kerr did a good job. He gave him a different look late in the game. For the first 46, it was like, okay, here you go.
Well, for me, just looking at other Cavaliers players, the guys, you know, like J.R. Smith, Korver, Clarkson, especially in Nance. For me, it would be difficult to play that way, the way Cleveland is playing, in my first 5 or 6 years in the NBA. My last 5, I could do easily, spot up and shoot and wait. But early in my career, it would have been difficult for me to wait in a spot for the basketball to create something and make something happen offensively and just shoot it. That's the only thing I could do. So for me, I think early he has to, and Alou has to, get those guys in movement more so they get a more rhythm of the game. So you don't have to depend on him to get 51 points. I think that's a very difficult way to play. I think last time you guys said it best. If it was you, I said you guys were great off-the-ball players. What would you do? You said, well, I'm going to seek out the weakest defender and make a pick and roll with him. But then that would make me stand around. Right. So when you ask the other 4 guys to stand around and be great, I don't know if you can win an NBA Finals like that.
To your point, LeBron James accounted for, either by scoring or assists, 70 points in game 1. Only one player in NBA Finals history has accounted for that many points in a Finals loss, and that's LeBron James, and he's done it twice now with the Cavalier team. That's how lopsided their offense has been over this run against the Warriors. For more on the Cavs, let's go inside here at Oracle to Kristen Ledlow. She is covering Cleveland.
Hey, Matt, thanks. And less than 72 hours ago, this Cavalier locker room was among the most somber that I've experienced in the years that I've spent covering this team. LeBron James admittedly called Game 1 one of the most difficult losses of his career. But something shifted in the time since. I've spoken with several members of the team, and their message is clear. We're moving on to Game 2. What Larry Nance Jr. said after Game 1 sums it up well. He said that we'll let this sting tonight, but we've got a great group of vets, and a great leader won't let us stay down long. Coach Ty Lue also addressed the media on Friday, and his message mirrored that of his team. Move on to Game 2. Guys, in just a couple of minutes, I'll talk to Coach Lue about his team's emotional rebound. But for now, Matt, back to you guys.
All right, Kristen, you made a point of saying we're not done yet. Only one game into the finals. For the Warriors and Steve Kerr, kind of the perfect scenario in a way, right? Because they easily could have lost Game 1. He and the Cavaliers have his players' attention moving forward here.
They definitely have their attention. You know, look, they didn't play great basketball. I think some of that is Cleveland's doing. Cleveland did a great job. But we also saw in that clip, defensively, they weren't in sync. They weren't as sharp and as crisp as they should be, particularly against LeBron James. So to win, even when you didn't play well against LeBron James and the Cavs, a great thing. If they can play well and play Warriors basketball and get this win here tonight, then things will be obviously very good.
Obviously, the injury questions hanging over Game 2. Let's send it inside. Jared Greenberg with Steve Kerr.
All right, Matt, Coach Kerr, obviously the big question tonight, the status of Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala. Do you have an update?
Andre's not going to play. And Klay, I would call him probable. He was getting better this morning when we looked at him, and the training staff was with him. And we'll see how he warms up, but I'm hopeful that he's going to play.
You said yesterday that you felt like the team didn't make it difficult enough for LeBron James. With Klay's status at this point, how much more challenging does it make you to come up with a defensive game plan?
Well, I mean, Andre's the guy who we usually have on him the most minutes. Klay guards him some, but you know, anytime you're shorthanded, other guys just have to step up, and we got other guys who can take on the challenge, and we just got to go get it done.
All right. Good luck, Coach.
Okay, thanks.
All right, back to you, Matt.
There you have it. Andre Iguodala out again tonight for the Warriors. Klay Thompson still probable. Sounds more and more like he's going to try to give it a go tonight. In terms of the limitations that this injury presents, bigger issue offensively or defensively for one of the best two-way players in the league?
You said it, best two-way players in the league. So it's liability both ways. I mean, because he's their best defender. And, you know, outside of Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, I don't know which one is their best shooter, but he one of them. You know, I mean, losing him, and if he's not able to give them the type of intensity on defense that he brings, and also from a shot-making standpoint, when you look at what Klay Thompson has done for this Golden State team over the last 4 to 5 years, he's been the big shot taker and the big shot maker in terms of momentum. And not having Klay at full strength is definitely going to hurt them.
Well, it's not just the shot making, it's the running around to get to the shot.
I got a rule for guys from our era.
Yeah.
You can never say the word two-way player. Who was not a two-way player?
I understand. My bad.
When you came into the league.
You had to be a two-way.
To get into the NBA.
You had to be a two-way.
You had to be a two-way. So we can't say that.
Yeah.
We're not allowed.
Yeah.
You caught both, Grant, so you might could say it, but we're not allowed.
I was just a player, and I became a defensive stopper later in my career.
Am I okay to say it? Can I say it?
You can say it because
Okay,
you were these millennials.
Okay. I'll take that. You know what? At my age, I'll take millennials. More coming up here. 90 minutes to come. LeBron James has shorts on with a suit again. I don't know how this has become a thing.
That's a two-way suit.
It's a wow.
Well, he wore that. No, he wore that at the NBA awards show last year. Same suit. Same suit.
He's repeating his suit.
He's repeating his suit.
Those are called culottes.
Come on, man.
They wearing culottes, man. They made no shorts. They wearing culottes.
I didn't think that was allowed. More coming up here on Game Time. We'll get into Kevin Durant. Still really good. Maybe not his best game in Game 1. What's ahead for him tonight as we continue live from the NBA Finals. Our Jared Greenberg that Andre Iguodala is out for Game 2. Klay Thompson still considered probable despite that high ankle sprain. But you know what? You look around Northern California, the sun is shining. It seems like a pretty good weekend. Time for a look at the shot chart presented by Kaiser Permanente. Kevin Durant, 8 of 22 in Game 1. 1 of 7 from three-point range. He hasn't shot the ball particularly well from three-point range throughout the postseason, but look at the isolation possessions in the Western Conference Finals with all that switching. 11 per game on average. He had a couple that were much more than that, in fact. 8 in game 1. How do you like the balance you saw out of KD?
Look, KD is a great one-on-one player. Probably had more opportunities, as you said, in the Western Conference Finals. But last year was sensational, MVP of the finals. But he's just been a little bit out of sorts here as of late. Got a matchup that he wants, a smaller J.R. Smith, no help, 2 dribbles, but kind of bails out for a tough shot. That's a shot you maybe take when you got a rhythm going. He never really got a rhythm. And then right here, Kevin Love, a mismatch, doesn't make the right read, gets pushed out to the three-point line, one-on-one with LeBron James, and just bails out with a tough shot. He was making those shots in those plays last year against LeBron. This year he struggles. Pushed out once again to the three-point line, forces a switch. Now he has the matchup he wants, Kevin Love, and he kind of bails him out here. I know it's a low shot clock, a tough shot. So nothing was easy. He didn't look he looked out of sorts. And sometimes you gotta be a little bit more aggressive, get to the line, be a little bit more creative when things are struggling. But they're going to need him. You know, Klay Thompson, the uncertainty, you know, your legs are so important to your shot. You can't rely on him necessarily. Steph's been consistent, but Durant has to play better. And he just hasn't been able to seize those opportunities when they come, and they rely on him and his ability to make shots. He just hasn't done that consistently, you know, obviously throughout the playoffs, most importantly in Game 1.
Grant, I think it's difficult to resist the mismatch that he has every time down court. So you're seduced into going to it, right? Because he does have a mismatch, and we're so used to seeing him dominate when he has a mismatch. And I think the size bothered him the last game in terms of Jeff Green, LeBron James, and even Kevin Love to a certain extent when he guarded him every now and then. He tried to take him off the dribble. When he tried to take people off the dribble, we saw them bring in a second defender. And when they brought the second defender, they forced him into being a passer, which made him take some tough shots because he wasn't looking to pass the ball. So I think he's gone back, watched the film, and the good thing we know about Kevin Durant is that he'll watch film, he'll make the adjustment because he still is the best scorer in the game.
Well, and he had 6 assists. He's adapted to this style of play since last season and kind of learned on the fly the Warrior way of moving the ball when the play calls for it.
For me, you know, watching him, he is the ultimate of controllable errors. All the errors that he makes are controllable. It's not something he can't do. It's just that he didn't do it last time. He chose not to do it. So all he has to do is make better decisions. He doesn't have to change his game. He's going to shoot the ball. He's got an advantage every single time. So when he walks into any building, he can wear the same sweatsuit every night because he is the best scorer in the basketball. So he doesn't have to worry about anything because he knows every night he has the advantage. It's just he has to make better decisions himself. There's nothing the defense is going to do that's going to dictate what he wants to do.
It really speaks to just how talented this team is. He had the best plus-minus of any player on the floor, plus 17. He had 26 in the game, and we're kind of nitpicking. He wasn't great. By his standards,
he wasn't efficient. Yeah. He was 26 points, but he wasn't efficient.
And most of that is the three-point shooting.
He could be efficient based on his decisions. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's nothing that the defense really pushed him to do. Like Grant said, he said, well, he's got Kevin Love on him, and he bailed him out. And he knows that. He said, you know what, next time, Kevin Love, I'm going to take him 2 dribbles in and put over. So he could change that. Kevin Love can't say, okay, I'm going to do that to him again. That doesn't happen. It's all based on his mentality.
You know, it's interesting. The mentality is very rarely with Kevin Durant, okay, I need to go out and score 35 because of the team he plays on. And yet, you know, and Steve Kerr called him a safety valve here yesterday, that's an option virtually every time he takes the floor.
No, he's a matchup nightmare every time he's on the court. I know I had to guard him, and he is just unbelievable. But
how was that?
No, I mean, it was interesting. I mean, I at the end of my career guarded LeBron, guarded Kobe, guarded, you know, guys like Dwayne Wade, Carmelo, you know, and great players. Look, great offense always trumps great defense, but you could do everything right defensively. You get in his space, you get in his feet, don't give him a lot of, you know, guess right, contest a shot from deep, and because of his size and his ability to get the ball on, he didn't even see you, and so you had to have, like, you know, selective memory. You just had to move on to the next play. But so I know what he's capable of. We all have seen it on display. But it's just, even in the Houston series, he had a great game 1, then he kind of struggled there, games 4 and game 5. And obviously Houston is a great team. But when he's on and he's playing like we saw last year, the Warriors can't be beat. And I do think they were being physical, as what you said.
Yes.
You have to be physical with Kevin Durant. You saw on those post-ups, he's catching the ball at the three-point line.
Yeah.
So he's not a strong guy in the
Right.
sense that he can get positioned down low. So if you can be physical, get in his space, you can make things difficult for him, as Cleveland did at times there in game 1.
And what the Rockets tried to do with P.J. Tucker getting up underneath him. We'll take a break here. More coming up here. Game Time live at the 2018 Finals. Before we go, this was Steve Kerr a few moments ago talking about trying to guard LeBron James here tonight.
Coach, after seeing what LeBron did in game 1, would you entertain the idea of maybe double teaming him right as he crosses half court to get rid of him, have him get rid of the ball and have his teammates forced to make a play?
I appreciate the question. I'm always amused that I'm asked to come up here 2 hours before the game and answer questions about strategy. I understand this is the protocol, but I'm not going to reveal what we're going to do defensively. That would seem quite silly to me.
All right.
But the fact that I'm here 2 hours before the game seems silly to me. But I got to do what I got to do.
No problem, Coach.
Thanks for the question. It's a good try.
So wait, you're not going to tell us exactly what you're going to do tonight? Why not? Come on.
We were so looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, exactly. More coming up here. We are live at the Finals from Oracle Arena in Oakland.